In this section, we're going to look at the solution to the traverse breadth first algorithm. So remember, we just spoke about the way in which we would approach this. So we're going to create some array. We're going to manually stick the first element into that array. And then we're going to set up a while loop to say, as long as this array has some element in it, take out the first element, take all of its children, and stick those all into the array, like so. So let's give this thing a shot. Over inside of my tree class, I'll find the traverse breadth first method. We'll then take the very top node, or the root node, out of our tree, and we'll stick it into a brand new array. So we can do all that inside with just one line of code. So we'll say const arr is this dot root, like so. So that will give us some element or our root node within our array right here. And now we can start to iterate over this array. So I'm going to set up a while loop and say while the array has something in it. So in other words, as long as array.length is a truthy value. So as soon as our array is empty, as soon as it has a length of 0, that means there's nothing else for us to do. We're all done. Then inside of here, we're going to take the first element out of the array. So we're going to literally remove it from the array. We're not just getting a reference to it, we're going to take it out so that the array over time will be decreased in size. So we'll say const node will be array, or arr dot shift. Remember, the shift method right here is a base array method that is included on all JavaScript arrays. The shift method will take out the first element of the array. So this does kind of require some knowledge of the shift method right here. Then we're going to immediately take all of this node's children and push them into our array. So we'll say q.push, and I want to take all the children from node right here and add them, or excuse me, not q, but arr.push, and we want to add in all the children from the node. Now the important thing to keep in mind is that we cannot say simply node.children, because node.children is an array. So if we push an array into an array, we would then have a nested array. It would look something like, this right here, which is not what we want. We don't want to have nested arrays. We want to make sure we take all of the nodes out of the children array and then add them into ARR. So there's two possible ways of doing this. The first possible way would be to write a for loop where we would iterate through node.children. So that might look something like for let node of node.children, or excuse me, we should be something like child. And we could say arr.push child. So that would be one possible solution, to take every child out of node.children and add them to the array. Another possible solution that is very few lines of code would be to use the ES2015 spread operator. So we can say simply ... node.children. And this has the exact same function as the for loop that we just saw. So in other words, take every element out of this array right here and push them into array. So the spread operator specifically right here is going to make sure that we are not attempting to push in the entire array structure. We're saying take all the elements out of there and push them one by one into array. So you can use either the for loop or the ... operator right here. Personally, I prefer the ... because obviously it's far less code. Okay, so that will take all of node's children and add them into our array so that they are waiting to be processed. So after our first loop through there, let's kind of trace through the first loop just one more time. So we start off with just node 20, which is the root node. We then take that thing out. We take all of 20's children, which are going to be 0, 40, and -15. Oops, too many copy pasted. And we push those all in to the array, one at a time. So again, remember, these should not be in their own little separate array. They are all individual elements within the array we had created. So now we can take node 20 right here and pass it in to our iterator function, which was provided as an argument to traverse breadth first. So we'll call fn with the current node that we are looking at. And that's pretty much it, believe it or not. So like I said, not very many lines of code here for this solution. So let's save this file and see how our tests are doing. Back over at the terminal, I've got 6 tests passing now, and if I scroll up a little bit, it looks like the test for breadth first traversal is passing. Cool, so that's pretty much it. Let's take a break right now. We'll continue in the next section, and we'll start talking about our approach for a depth first traversal. So quick break, and we'll tackle that in the next video.